Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Let It Die. So, yes, I'm recording this at the same day as the previous episode. Strange recording time, other than my usual. I'm recording on Sunday evening. It's actually close to midnight. I just picked my brother up from an evening out, and I'm ready to carry on recording today, or I guess this episode. We'll be continuing on with the forcemen situation, the forcemen fights. So I've got a very specific build ready and prepared here on this fighter, Iron Mike, ready for action here. And yeah, this is a very specific build to deal with white steel in particular. I'll be using the white steel counter tactic. Now I don't have the weapon required for the fight fully upgraded, but we'll be fighting white steel normal, not hard mode or nightmare mode, so it won't be such a big issue, hopefully. As I mentioned in the previous episode, the only thing missing from having this be the best damage possible builds is another Raging Bull. In fact, you may have access to regular Raging Bull much easier than Premium Raging Bull. But then I also mentioned last episode, at this stage of the game you really want to spend some time focusing on grinding the premium decals out for a little bit. You know, spend a few days farming kill coins, trading in mushroom stews, do a couple of million. I'm only at 3.5 million so far. Kill coins spent on mushroom stews. You could probably do better. You really want a good solid base of premium decals selection to use for strategies going on from here on out. But yeah, what I've got available to me is when you have the Bull Premium, non-premium, and the Raging Bull Premium, this is a very cost-effective setup. Raging Bull non-premium cost you 2 silver skill shrooms to install, but this costs just kill coins, with the regular Bull non-premium costing kill coins, and the rest are just, you know, remove without destroy, as is all premium. And I guess this one was a bit expensive, but I'd rather pay 11,000 than the 2 silver skill shrooms for the non-premium Raging Bull. The super alloy, same deal. This is a one-hit strategy where we're putting as much power into a single hit as we can. The counterattack on the Dragon Buster Sword, in this case it is the just regular Buster Sword. No? Oh wait, it is called the Dragon Buster Sword. Never mind me. The Dragon Buster Sword S gets fire damage. The regular Dragon Buster Sword has pure slash damage. Yeah, here we are. So the super alloy, 20% increased damage when enemies are 70% or more health. So that is another 20% damage buff on top of what else we've got. The Raging Bull. So I'll be setting up a Bull damage build. The hats is, it doesn't change the health standing, so that'll be fine. Take off my gear for now. All these mushrooms I've got on me, many of which I will not use. I've got 2 grilled mushrooms. I may only need 1. In fact, I probably only need 1. I'm quickly going to install the Rage Increaser Premium. So I've got a Wolf decal, and getting a Wolf Premium is very good for setting up your fighters for Forcemen. Because whenever you change fighters or log into the game, you lose your state of rage, like the rage bars you've built up on your fighter, and you also lose any buffs you may have had when logging out, like livestream buff. So swapping into rage quickly, the what is this, Wolf decal increases rage gain by 50%. The grilled mushroom gives you 3 bars of rage, increased to 4.5 because of the plus 50% going on there. So we should only need one. There we go, 4.5 rage bars. The threshold we're looking for is 4, because as you can see at the bottom right icon on the Buster Sword, it costs 2 rage to use. So yeah. Swap back to the other decal. I hope I'm not going to do 1 episode per Forceman. I do want to make a bit of pace because it's getting kind of late. And I would like to sleep at some point today. Or tomorrow. Right. Let's see. Just have to quickly check something really fast. Open up the Let It Die site. Apologies for this unprofessionalism. But I really can't stop recording now. Yep. Okay. Right. Should be good to go. So, another issue that I must mention is this build we're setting up now is a bull build, and it's based on the counter damage of the longsword tree. Ending up in the Dragon Buster Sword, you want the Dragon Buster Sword S, of course, at least upgraded to Dragon Buster Sword S for fire damage, and just damage in general. I don't know if you can take on hard mode White Steel without that level of damage. We are the right tier of fighter though, to take on both White Steel, normal hard mode, and nightmare mode. The only thing that that's stopping us from doing so is upgrade level. Yeah, we don't have our gear really upgraded to a state where it should be to deal with all difficulties of the Forcemen. What level are you on, you sneaky bugger? Okay, so a couple of these blacked out floors are where White Steel is. The 12th floor... No, that's probably Red Napalm. Yeah. Ko Oni, I guess. The 8th floor, that will be White Steel Nightmare. White Steel Hard Mode is probably on the 5th floor from Tamata. And then White Steel Normal Mode is on floor 4, the floor above Kami Ikidoi. Actually, what would be the fastest way to reach Kami Ikidoi? Probably traveling to Hyakudori. I hope Hyakudori down escalator is close to the elevator. And before we leave, I almost forgot to pick up the quests. The main deal you'll be wanting to do these Forcemen on normal mode is the death metal situation. So every difficulty of Forcemen grants you a death metal reward. Where is that difficulty? Oh, here it is. Okay, so it's in the difficulty 2 brackets of quests. I'll be picking up, since I have the space in my active quest list, only 4 of 10. So I'll be picking up Defeat White Steel Normal Mode, Defeat Red Napalm Normal Mode, Defeat Black Thunder Normal Mode, and Defeat Pale Wind Normal Mode. And I'm planning to do them all in one recording session. So if I don't get to them this video, the next one you'll see the Forcemen go on. Now, I've only got a limited access to decals and weapons and upgraded gear, so don't take this strategy you see today as, I guess, canon. This is just a, well, temporary solution, you could say. So we're heading to Hyakudori. I'm just going to check if I've got, yeah. So a couple of shrooms I have on me are just to talk about. Now, with the Forcemen fights, they're interesting in that they have rules and regulations to them above what you'd see in most other parts of the game. Now, we haven't dealt with jackals yet. They're a whole different thing as well. I'd say farming forceman gear is on a difficulty beyond the main tower. So there's the main tower has 40 floors to it. Once reaching floor 40, the game, I guess, the credits roll and the base game has been defeated. That's your, well, at the state of the game right now, that is the goal to achieve, reaching floor 40 and yeah, climbing the tower as such. Now, the difficulty for the end game content, I would state, is if you have the strength to defeat the final boss, you have just about the strength required to defeat a single jackal. Your progression point from then on will be to defeat multiple jackals in one go, defeating them in a row. And then, you know, if you're strong enough to do that, well, not necessarily strong enough to defeat the forcemen on every difficulty level, but once you have your armor fully upgraded, especially if you bring it to tier 4, but if you get tier 3 fully upgraded, you're probably more than strong enough to deal with the forcemen white steel on nightmare mode. Because white steel was released first, his difficulty is slightly different balanced from the other forcemen, which were released after the 4th tier weapon unlock. Now, I believe the first 4th tier weapon release happened simultaneously with white steel's release. So white steel is very much the runt of the litter of forcemen. He's the early bird. He really is completely balanced differently than the other forcemen. I'd say the other forcemen require you definitely to be at tier 4 gear, and yeah, possibly 6-star fighter. Probably 6-star fighter for some of them. On nightmare difficulty, mind you, to get all the gear for forcemen, you really have to be get the absolute max out of your fighter to be able to deal with that challenge. But white steel is quite the much easier fight on all difficulties, nightmare included. When you're 5-star, tier 3 upgraded, fully upgraded gear, you should be able to deal with white steel nightmare mode and farm him out, which means you have much quicker and easier access to white steel's armor and weapon set before every other forceman. So yeah, rant over. The rules of white steel fight. I'm going to go and check the tutorial on Barb's Bible. Where are those buggers? Forcemen. Thank you for playing Let It Die. With this latest update, we've added a new feature for Forcemen, as the game suggests. Well, it's not the latest update, but, you know. It's a group of 4 elite haters decked out in the latest gear. Not really. They're the toughest baddies in the Tower of Barbs. The first round marks the introduction of the white steel DoD arms. Hope you enjoy duking it out with these new and formidable foes. 3 difficulty levels. You can challenge white steel at 3 difficulty levels: level normal, hard, and nightmare. Please note that the floor layout as well as the rewards differ between difficulties. Okay, the floor layout doesn't really differ between difficulties. I don't know what they mean with that. Maybe it's the location is different, because yeah, there are 3 different locations based on difficulty. Starting in version 2.9, players can challenge each difficulty for free once a day. This is a good feature. Yeah, they did add that. So it is true, every difficulty can be challenged free of cost once a day on every day that the forcemen are out of the week, which is Wednesday and Sunday. And this is really good because at the higher difficulties, forcemen start really getting up there in cost. It's 5,000 to challenge normal mode, 30,000 kill coins to challenge hard mode, and 100,000 kill coins to challenge nightmare mode. Now, the first few weeks of release on forcemen, they were reduced price costs by what, 30% or something, Anyway, it was 70,000 to challenge Nightmare, 20-something thousand to challenge hard mode, and normal mode is like irrelevant. It's so cheap anyway, so... But I do appreciate that it won't cost us anything to get in there, because I don't have that much kill coins to begin with. Battle rules. For this battle, there is a time limit. Fail to defeat the enemy within the time limit and you'll be executed. Talk about a harsh punishment. Compete at your own risk. Battle fee. Challenge the 4 forcemen. Go to the entry box and pay the required number of kill coins. The fee varies depending on difficulty. Should you die in the battle, salvage requests from the fighter freezer in your waiting room will be free of charge. Don't worry too much about dying, just give it a try. Give dying a try, guys. Dying can be fun, you know? The afterlife might be cool. Do I have something... Where's my kamikaze shroom? Nah, I'm sure I'll be able to show off that feature easy enough on the subsequent forcemen. I may be spending 2 episodes on White Steel, by the looks at the time. So, what they fail to mention there is that there's rules depending on the forceman. The first forceman, White Steel, so they have immunity to certain buffs, like they have... you know how you've got the negates effects buffs? What do you call them? The decals. Where is that situation? Over here. Play log. Nope, not that one. Mastery level. Fighter data. Nope. Where is the data I am looking for? Skill decal book. Okay. Show me the nonsense. This nonsense over here. So all this negate effects, well, the forcemen naturally have that. So look at this. Negates the effect of enemy guard shroom, negates the effect of enemy's transparangus, negates the effect of brain shroom when attached to a defense fighter, hunter and hater. Like all of these negating effects decals, a lot of these effects are innately present within the forcemen. Now, specifically, they do this to remove overly powerful shrooms from your fighter during the forceman fight, because they protect their babies, they don't want them to get hurt, they want you to die, they don't want their forcemen to die. This is important. They want the death metals. You must give them the money. Anyway, without getting cynical about it, certain buffs are considered strong buffs, and these, you can imagine, will be removed as soon as possible against the forceman. Now, I don't have a guard shroom on me, but the guard shroom is the shroom that makes you invincible. It looks very heavy. It's like a piece of iron, and when you throw it, it doesn't travel far. So I don't have the guard shroom on me, but grilled slowmungus, grilled transparangus, grilled guard shroom, also non-grilled versions of them, are all considered very strong buffs on your fighter. These all show up as buffs under your name of your fighter when you consume them. And if you strike the enemy forceman while under the effects of any of these buffs, the buff will be negated. It will be removed from your fighter. Also, during the fight itself, and I'm explaining it now because the fight will possibly be over before we will even get to see any combat against White Steel, and again, this is good to see gameplay, but yeah, today we'll just be talking about general forceman lore, I guess, and forceman, yeah, statistics. So the forcemen remove these really strong shrooms on contact damage, and if they don't remove these when you hit their frame, they will actively remove these buffs by shooting a bubble outwards from their core. It's like a mini AoE explosion that removes buffs and also knocks you back. Now, in many cases, it's a priority attack for the forceman. When you eat a shroom that grants your fighter a buff that they can remove, often their first response will be to stop what they're doing and use the remove buff bubble. So you cannot rely on these strong shrooms. You cannot rely on invisibility, slow time, invincibility. As a general rule, you can't rely on those effects against forcemen. However, with the big mushroom nerf they did to get rid of, or at least make extremely rare, the base forms of the slow and invisible shrooms, they added some nerfed versions that are unstackable, damage you when consumed, and have a much lower duration. Compare the Umbrella Rib Fungus here to the Grilled Transparungus. 25 seconds stackable cloak with no detriment to your health. Now this one is 10 seconds less, which is almost half the time, half the normal duration. It doesn't stack, so you can't stack the duration effects on top of each other by consuming multiples. And that's what it means when you see stack on a buff shroom. Like, you know, the rarely rare shrooms, you won't even have to worry about stacking because they're so rare you don't want to be using every Transparungus you have on a single fight. You want to spread them out. They're too good to use. But attack increasing shrooms, these are ones that you could easily stack, because especially not the OG Sting, but the Red Sting shroom is in abundance to be found in the tower. The scorpions, the normal red scorpions now, they're normal. Those are to be found in abundance, so you can easily stack a whole bunch of red Sting shrooms on top of each other. Normal Sting shrooms too, but it depends how much OG Sting you find on in the tower. I mean OG scorpions, the yellow scorpions, golden scorpions. Not golden. Yellow or green, it depends. Depends what lightens on them at the moment. Depends what mood they're in. Golden fishy fungus, what is this doing in my bags? Oh yeah, this is another thing. Most, what is that? Crowd control, I guess you could consider it. Most crowd control effects won't work on a forceman. Throwing a fishy fungus, fluffy fungus, frongus, explosive. Maybe the explosive shrooms may knock them down and do a slight bit of damage, but they're irrelevant. In a general sense, the throwing mushrooms, the offensive throwing mushrooms, are all pointless against the forcemen, and there's no reason to use them. So the very powerful self buffs, pointless against forcemen, they remove those, and the throwing mushrooms, also pointless against forcemen. So what does remain? Attack increasing buffs, I guess invulnerability to poison and electricity buffs may work. Not exactly sure if they do. Damn. I'd have to test it. You know what? I'm gonna go and buy or bring a one of those invulnerability streams and test it. Snail. Actually, on this character? No. Not on this character. Oh my god, I'm wasting time. Wasting all the time. Right. I'm gonna get rid of this guy. Alrighty. And here's the life shroom. The reason I'm bringing this is I want a non-cooked life shroom. When you're dealing with white steel, you may want to use a non-cooked life shroom instead of a grilled life shroom when using the bull build, because you want to stay as low health as possible. It all depends on how strong your defense rating on your armor is, to be honest. But yeah. The detriment to this build, the downside is if you don't kill him in one shot and he survives, he takes you below 1 health, then you're kind of screwed because you'll lose most of your damage. This damage requires you to be at low health, and if he knocks you through your life shroom buff, you recover 50% health and are no longer within the, what is it, like 15% health bracket required I think it's something like that. Either 20% or 15% health you have to be below for the bull build, the bull decals to become active. So I'm gonna throw that back in, bringing you. I actually don't need you anymore. And the snails, I'm gonna kick their ass and give them to my other fighter in preparation. So what is this, like the second episode of preparing for forcemen? God damn it, I'm good at wasting time, aren't I? Wait. Kerplow. Alright. So I really just want to check if Snail Shroom is a buff that is considered a buff that needs to be removed by the forcemen. If it is, then it'll be a good way to show off the forcemen remove bubble. Yeah, so what I was getting onto, the grilled umbrella root fungus, the cat-eye shroom, aka the nerfed strong mushrooms, they're still strong but they're nerfed, actually work on many forcemen. They aren't considered a strong buff that needs to be removed instantly by the forceman bubble buff remove attack. So you can use them. I guess because they do your health damage, the developers consider it's, you know, you're already taking a huge risk by using them. But yeah, you know, for Red Napalm specifically, these two shrooms are very invaluable during the fight to capitalize on her visible states. You know, Red Napalm does too much damage in the higher difficulties to go up against her fairly, one-on-one fight, without using these really strong buff shrooms. And why do I still have them on me? I'm not planning to show them off. I'd like to bring a buff that is removed, but I don't know if I'll be bringing that on this fighter. So I've got the grilled oak shroom and a golden oak shroom. I'll be using the yeah, actually, golden oak shroom. Am I mad? No, I'm not going to use that on this. I'm going to use the normal grilled oak shroom. Yeah, apologies if you thought I was going to fight forcemen this episode. You were wrong. I was going to waste up time with this episode. Alright. Am I prepped to go? I'm just about prepped to go. I might as well just like end the episode here and start off like fully prepared to go in the next episode. So we've been talking about forcemen strategies and we'll continue to talk about those in the next episode. So see you guys in the next one.